Switzerland is one of the richest countries in the world. The salaries you see online, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 francs a month, those are real. But if you just arrived here, if you don't speak the language yet, if you're working in a hotel, a restaurant, a warehouse, or a cleaning company, those numbers are not your reality. Not yet. A realistic gross salary for someone new, without qualifications or language, is between 4,500 and 6,000 francs a month. After all deductions, social insurance, pension, source tax, you take home roughly 4,000 francs net on a 5,000 franc salary. And after rent, food, health insurance, and transport, we're going to show you exactly what is left, and why, if you're a couple both working full-time, the numbers change completely. Stay for the full video. Every number, no filter. Let's be specific about who we're talking about. Someone who came to Switzerland, maybe from Portugal, Spain, Italy, Brazil, Kosovo, Eastern Europe, North Africa. Still learning German or French, working in hospitality, cleaning, construction, retail, logistics, or care work. Hard, honest jobs. And in Switzerland, they pay better than almost anywhere else in Europe. But the costs are on a completely different level, too. So let's go through everything, first for one person, then for a couple, because those two scenarios produce very different lives.
In these sectors, a realistic gross salary is between 4,500 and 6,000 francs a month for full-time work. Today's example is 5,000 francs gross. Before you see a franc, Switzerland makes mandatory deductions. First, AHV, IV, and EO. That is social insurance covering old age, disability, and maternity, around 5.3% of your gross salary. Second, ALV, unemployment insurance, another 1.1%. Third, BVG, your occupational pension fund, roughly 6 to 7% depending on your employer. And fourth, source tax. If you have a B or L permit, your income tax is deducted directly from your salary every month. At this income level, around 7 to 8%. Total deductions, about 19 to 20% maximum. On a 5,000 franc salary, that means roughly 4,000 francs net. That is your real starting point in Switzerland. One important thing before we move on. Health insurance is not deducted from your salary. You pay it yourself, every month, on top of everything else. It is mandatory for every single resident. We will count it in the expenses now.
150 and 450 francs a month. That is around 4,800 francs a year just to be legally insured. Number 2, transport. Switzerland has an incredible public transport network. Trains, trams, buses, all on time. But a monthly pass covering the zones you actually need for work and daily life costs between 200 and 300 francs a month, per person. Together, those two costs alone are between 550 and 750 francs a month, before rent, before food, before anything else. Switzerland is not a country you can budget casually. You need to know these numbers before you arrive. So, let's put the full month together for one person in a shared flat in a Swiss city. Rent, your share of a shared flat, 950 francs. Health insurance, basic coverage, 400 francs. Groceries, shopping carefully at Aldi or Lidl, 450 francs. Transport, monthly pass for the zones you need, 250 francs. Phone and internet, 70 francs. Personal care and household items, 150 francs. Leisure, a coffee, a meal out, a weekend activity, 200 francs. Total, around 2,470 francs. From 4,000 francs net, spending 2,470 leaves roughly 1,530 francs at the end of the month. For one person in a shared flat, that is real. You can save, you can breathe. It requires discipline, but it works. Now let's talk about what happens when two people do this together, because this is where Switzerland becomes a genuinely different conversation.
Here is the number that changes everything about living in Switzerland. One person, full-time job, 5,000 francs gross, 4,000 net. After rent, food, health insurance, transport, and basics, roughly 1,530 francs left at the end of the month. Manageable, but tight. Now, two people, both working full-time, both earning 5,000 gross. Combined net, 8,000 francs. Their rent splits in two. Their internet splits in two. Their groceries are more efficient. Their fixed costs go down. Their income doubles. Total coupled expenses around 4,300 francs a month. Left over together, around 3,700 francs every single month.
That is 44,000 francs a year in potential savings on 2 normal salaries. No qualifications, no language yet, no promotions. Just 2 people showing up to work in Switzerland, and the numbers do the rest. Here is exactly where those numbers come from. Rent for 1 apartment together, 1,600 francs. That is 800 each, already cheaper than 2 shared rooms separately. Health insurance, 800 francs, 400 each. Groceries cooking together, 700 francs. Transport, both with monthly passes, 500 francs. Phone and internet with a shared connection, 100 francs. Personal care and household, 200 francs. Leisure, going out together, activities, weekend trips, 400 francs. Total couple expenses, around 4,300 francs. Combined net income, 8,000 francs. Total expenses, 4,300 francs. Leftover every month, 3,700 francs. That is roughly 44,000 francs a year, without promotions, without side income, without optimizing anything. Just 2 people, 2 full-time jobs, 1 shared life in Switzerland. And think about what that means day to day. A ski weekend in winter, a lake holiday in summer, a long weekend in another European city. On 3,700 francs a month of spare money, that is not a treat. That is just a normal part of life.
Here is the full picture across every realistic scenario for someone new to Switzerland. 1 person earning 4,500 gross in a shared flat. Net around 3,600. Expenses around 2,470. Left over around 1,130 francs. Tight but manageable. 1 person earning 5,000 gross in a shared flat. Net around 4,000. Expenses around 2,470. Left over around 1,530 francs. Manageable. 1 person earning 5,000 gross in their own flat. Net around 4,000. Expenses around 3,220. Left over around 780 francs. Tight. A couple both earning 4,500. No children. Combined net around 7,200. Expenses around 4,300. Left over around 2,900 francs. Comfortable. A couple both earning 5,000. No children. Combined net around 8,000. Expenses around 4,300. Left over around 3,700 francs. Very good. A couple both earning 6,000. No children. Combined net around 9,600. Expenses around 4,300. Left over around 5,300 francs. Excellent. Now you might be thinking, what if we have a child? Or we already do? That changes the calculation completely, and it deserves its own honest video. Childcare in Switzerland, called kita, or crèche in the French-speaking regions, costs between 1,500 and 2,500 francs per month per child. That alone can nearly cancel out 1 full salary. There are subsidies, family allowances, and strategies that help, but it is a completely different situation from everything we covered today. Full dedicated video on that coming soon. People always ask, can you actually save money in Switzerland if you are not a banker, not a doctor, not some highly paid specialist, just a normal person doing a normal job? The honest answer is yes, but it depends on one thing more than anything else. Living alone in Switzerland on a starter salary is hard. You can do it, but you will save between 700 and 1,500 francs a month depending on your situation. It requires discipline and almost certainly a shared flat. But 2 people, both working full-time, no children, this country genuinely rewards you. We are talking 3,700 francs left over every month on 2 normal salaries. Vacations, savings, a quality of life that you simply cannot reach doing the same work in Germany, France, Spain, or Portugal. Switzerland is not easy, but if you come here ready to work and you are not doing it alone, the numbers are on your side. That is the honest truth. That is the real picture of Switzerland. Not the glossy version, not the scary version, the actual numbers for actual people doing actual jobs. If this was useful, subscribe. Every video on this channel is one topic, real numbers, no filter. Coming up next, health insurance in Switzerland, what you are legally required to have, how to choose the right plan, and who qualifies to pay less. It is one of the biggest monthly costs we cover today, and most people get it completely wrong when they first arrive. See you in the next one.